So the Deadlock team called this a minor patch, but after playing it, I think we can all agree that some pretty major changes were made. Now that everyone's had some time to actually get some games in, it's been about 2 weeks, I wanted to talk about the update, with the biggest changes being the new objective, the Rift. I feel like most feedback I've seen on it has been positive, but I don't think the Rift that we're playing today is going to be the same Rift we're playing 6 months from now. Valve has shown time and time again that they're willing to make big changes during development. It seems like everybody, but especially Yoshi, is just watching and experimenting on how players react and collecting data and then adjusting based on what actually happens in real matches. So instead of asking, is the Rift a perfect objective? I think the better question is, what is Valve trying to learn from it? Now, the Rift, without question, is the biggest addition in this patch. And when it was first released, it honestly felt like the game revolved around it. As soon as it spawned, both teams would immediately rotate over because everyone knew that they had to contest it, or they wanted to contest it just because it was a new objective. But now we've already started seeing players adapt, and instead of automatically taking every Rift fight, teams are starting to think a little bit differently and strategically. Is fighting actually worth it? You know, sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes it's better off pushing walkers, farming the jungle, taking map control, or trading pressure somewhere else while the other team commits 4 or 5 players to the Rift. And honestly, that's what I like most about the objective, is that it creates another strategic decision instead of forcing every game down the same path. There's variety. So what happens when you actually win the Rift? Your reward is a wave of Rift troopers. These aren't just upgraded lane creeps. They're much larger, they have their own visual effects, and they're significantly stronger than normal troopers. The first Rift gives them 100% bonus health, 100% bonus damage, and every Rift after that makes them even stronger. 120% for the next one, 140% for the one after that, and so on. So instead of giving your team one big instant reward, winning the Rift creates pressure across the entire map. Now, the defending team has to make a decision. Do we immediately clear these empower waves? Do we defend our walkers? Do we ignore them and try to force a play somewhere else? Meanwhile, the team that won the Rift has decisions too. Do you group the Rift troopers in siege objectives, or do you use all the lane pressure to invade the enemy jungle, build an even bigger advantage? To me, that is what makes the Rift interesting. It's not just another objective that gives team buffs or souls. It changes the way both teams have to think about the map. Now, one concern that I'm not sure how I feel about it is that the Rift troopers don't reward any souls at all. I personally don't think that the Rift is, like I said, in the final design. My guess is Valve is trying to isolate variables and see how teams play around the Rift pressure before deciding exactly how they want those rewards to work. If I had to guess, I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually see some kind of reward added back in for clearing them. But for now, I think Valve is simply collecting data. The other major objective that changed is the Urn. And honestly, I think this update pushes it in the opposite direction from the Rift. Before this patch, the Urn almost always turned into a team objective. As soon as someone picked it up, they were highlighted for the entire enemy team to see. Everybody rotated towards the Urn. Everybody knew where the fight was happening. Now it's completely different. The player carrying the Urn is no longer revealed to the enemy team, making it much harder to track where they're going and when they're planning to deposit it. On top of that, you can now shoot and use abilities while carrying the Urn. Before, you were basically helpless once you picked it up. Now you can actually defend yourself while moving across the map. That doesn't mean that there isn't any risk that comes with that though. If, you know, the enemy can still come up to you, melee you, and you will still drop it, and they can deposit the Urn. And once you picked it up, you can't just throw it back down. So before you grab it, you need to really kind of have a plan. You need to know where the enemy team is. Can you actually make it to deposit it? Is my team creating enough pressure somewhere else that's going to give you an opening? I really like the direction of the Urn. I feel like the multiple objectives are causing a lot of different things going on, and I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see more objectives in the future. Another change that ended up having a bigger impact than I was expecting is the Rejuvenator being reduced from 4 minutes down to 3 minutes. So it expires pretty quickly. I think maybe it's just me, but that extra minute disappearing feels way more noticeable noticeable than I thought it would. There have been several games where it felt like we just secured the Rejuv, and before we knew it, the buff was already gone. It definitely makes winning Rejuv feel less oppressive and gives the losing team a better opportunity to recover. It's probably just something we're all just gonna have to adjust to, but I'm sure they'll tweak and change stuff just like with anything else. There were also quite a few hero balance changes in this patch. I'm not gonna go through them specifically in this video, but if you haven't seen the patch notes, definitely check it out. You're like 2 weeks late, but I think these changes are a big reason why we're seeing a lot more Celeste, Apollo, Drifter, and a few other heroes that have been popping up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing other content creators putting out updated tier lists over the next few weeks as people are figuring out who's really benefiting from this patch. Overall, I actually like the update. I like the new objectives. I'm curious what you guys think. Have you been enjoying the Rift? Do you like the new earn changes? And if you could change one thing about this patch, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more Deadlock content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.